doing a Dollar Tree DIY. This DIY is inspired by some raffia mirrors that I saw on Pinterest, and I really wanted to create one for myself, but I challenged myself to only use Dollar Tree supplies, and I think it turned out pretty well. So this mirror is definitely a mini version of all the ones I saw in Pinterest, but if you didn't want to use Dollar Tree supplies and you wanted to go to the craft store, you could easily make this project bigger by just getting a larger wreath form and a larger mirror to go in the middle, and it would look more like the ones on Pinterest. Regardless, I'm still happy with how this mirror turned out because it is significantly cheaper than the ones I saw for sale on Urban Outfitters and stores like that. So let's go ahead and get started. So what you're going to need for this project is a wreath form from the Dollar Tree, some raffia cording, a mini mirror which you can find in the candle section. I'm going to use some spray paint that I already had on hand, so you can just use what you have. You'll need some glue. I used E6000 and hot glue. And then a paint stick, which is just one that I found in my garage, so you can kind of use whatever you have. And then some scissors. Alright, so to start, I'm going to obviously take the packaging off the wreath forms. This one comes with two, so you can save another one or the other one for another project. We're just going to use one today. So what we're using the paint stick for is to attach the mirror to the wreath form. So that's why I said you can kind of use whatever you have. If you wanted to go get a paint stick, they're free at most hardware stores. I know it's kind of hard to get your hands on things right now though. So I'm just going to go ahead and sand this so that we can take it outside and paint it, and it will be a nice smooth coat. Once you're done sanding, what I went ahead and did is figured out where I need to trim the paint stick so that it doesn't stick out of the sides of the wreath form. So I'm just making some marks, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut it. All I had to cut it was a box cutter and a cutting board from my kitchen. So if you're doing this, just make sure you're being careful. I swear I was being careful, even though it looks like I'm going to cut my fingers off here. Once you're through both sides, I'm just going to go ahead and give it a quick sanding before I go ahead and take it outside to paint. And now to go ahead and spray paint it, which is the most satisfying part in my opinion. I'm pretty sure you guys all know how to spray paint. Just make sure you're giving it a nice even coat and getting all sides. But honestly, it doesn't matter too much because once the raffia goes on, you're not really going to see this. The reason we're spray painting it is so that if it does move, you won't see the green wreath form. Now while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and figure out how long I want my strips of raffia to be. So I cut mine to about 10 inches because we're going to fold it when we go ahead and attach it. So it's going to be about 5 inches long, and then we can always trim it later. One trick I learned from Exo McKenna is if you just put two things as far apart as you want the strands and wrap it around, you can actually measure them out and cut them a lot quicker. So that's what I did here. And then, yeah, I just cut them all to the size I needed them. So once I had a good amount of the pieces cut, I went ahead and started attaching them to the outer ring of the wreath form. We're going to use a lark's head knot here. If you don't know how to do this, I would go ahead and look up a tutorial because I didn't do a great job of showing you how to do it. It was kind of hard to show it on camera, but basically you're going to fold the strand in half and you're going to put the loop on top of the rung that you're trying to tie it around. And then you're going to pass the two end strands through the loop and pull tight. Just be careful when you're pulling tight though, because it is paper raffia, so if you pull too hard, you will rip them, and I did rip a few, and it's kind of wasteful, so just be careful. I'm just going around here, and I'm going to fill in the outer rung of the wreath with the lighter color, and then I'm going to go in on the second layer with the darker brown color, and then on the most inner layer, we're going to do the light one again. This is what it was looking like once I had the first layer on, but really you can do any color variation here. The pack comes with 3 colors. It comes with the light and the medium and the dark brown. I just opted for the 2 lightest colors. After that, I went ahead and flipped in the middle layer so that I could start trimming the outer layer so I could have a better idea of how long I wanted the center layer to be. So I just took a ruler and some scissors and I went ahead and started cutting the outer layer and making sure it was all even. I believe that I cut this layer to about 4 or 5 inches if I remember correctly, but you can really do it to your own personal taste and however long you need it to be. So I'm just using that same technique to go ahead and trim the middle layer, and I'm going to make it about a ½ inch shorter than the outer layer, and then I'm going to do the exact same thing with the top layer, just making it about a ½ inch shorter than the middle layer. I went ahead and did this off camera because the process was getting kind of repetitive by now, but this is what it was looking like. So after all that hard work and tying the strings on, it's finally time to attach the mirror. So I just went ahead and grabbed my ruler so I could measure out exactly where I needed it to be, And honestly, I did this the hard way. I think it would be a lot easier to glue the stick onto the back of the mirror first and then glue the mirror to that, but I did it backwards and I kind of wish I did it the other way. So just something to think about. But basically I'm just going to use a mixture of E6000 and hot glue to go ahead and glue everything down so it's nice and secure. But really this mirror is super light and so is the wreath form, so hot glue will do just fine if you don't have E6000. Okay, so last step, we just need to attach the mirror to the wreath form. So I'm just taking a ruler to make sure that I have everything lined up correctly, and then I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of E6000 and then some hot glue to hold it down. Like I said, you can use just hot glue if you want to. So I just went in with a pen and marked where I needed to put it. And that's really it for today's project. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, consider hitting that subscribe button. It would mean so much to me. And stay tuned till the end to see how it turned out. Project. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, consider hitting that subscribe button because I'm going to be posting a lot more DIY, home decor, thrift flipping type content. But that's it for today, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!